I really feel like we got hints, or if not, to me, in my mind, we got confirmation that Solo is going to be the one to dethrone Roman if it's going to be a member of the bloodline. But this is my theory. So I've already been saying this for how many months? That Solo.
Oh, you've been saying it for a while. This is you. Yeah, I give you props here. I give you your dues here.
So I've been saying for months that Solo was going to be the one, right? This is my theory. So after watching all of this, to me, it makes sense. And I feel like they really did set it up that it's going to be Solo. So I think the reason why it's going to be Solo is one, Jay, which we'll get into a second. Jay challenged Roman. It's probably going to be what happens at SummerSlam. Jay's not becoming champion at SummerSlam. They're not dethroning. They're not dethroning Roman at SummerSlam. But then are we supposed to believe that they're going to wait for Jay and Roman to have a rematch at Mania for the title? Like, we've already seen it.
No.
I mean, no. Well, wait. This is my theory.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm saying we got that, right? I think that the idea of it being Jay, I understand it 100%. I wouldn't be mad about it whatsoever. If I was wrong about it being Solo and it ends up being Jay, I wouldn't be mad. This is the thing, though. I don't think that it's necessary anymore. I don't know that Jay has to be the one. Jay is going to go down in the record books for being the one to pin Roman Reigns for the first time in 3.5 years. That is not more iconic than dethroning Roman, but that's like equal level almost, because like it was something that you didn't think was ever going to happen, and you didn't think it was going to happen until he lost the title. That wasn't something like, I feel like this is kind of their way of rewarding Jay for everything that he did and giving him this like gigantic moment and having him go down in history as the one to have done it. And I feel like it kind of could be their way of being like, okay, you're not going to be the one to dethrone him, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because like he has this other gigantic accomplishment or something, and
achievement, accomplishment, feat.
Yes. And so I think that this kind of set it up, because then when you watch the interview with the Usos and Ariel Helwani, the unbiased journalist, they have spoken about how proud they are of Solo and how far he's come and how good he is already. And you have to remember, he's like 7-8 years younger than them. Then so it would make sense for him to be the tribal chief, right? Because he would be the tribal chief for the next generation, which also, think about it this way, it's a full circle moment. Solo's debut on the main roster was at Clash at the Castle. He was brought up to help the continuation of the bloodline and their ownership over the WWE. Wouldn't it be just a great moment for him to be the reason that the reign of terror of Roman Reigns ends and he becomes the new tribal chief?
You're selling me. You're selling me on it. So I'm not opposed to this, and I want Jay to get it, but I'm not opposed to that either. I like that.
I feel like, I think because I don't know when Solo will be at a point where we see him turn on Roman. I think it's going to be drawn out for a while, because I think they really want it to feel like something that is never going to happen, that it would be like the biggest shock ever that Solo decided to turn and join his brothers. I think that they need to draw it out, because if he like turns at like SummerSlam, it's too quick,
Oh yeah, they know it. No, yeah,
and I feel like, when I don't know if you caught this, but at Money in the Bank, when Jay pinned Roman says to him, "I love you," as he's pinning him. I don't know if you saw that. And I feel like, this was Roman's way of like putting the Usos over completely. You know what I mean? Like, again, like rewarding them for being such a huge part of this story, because Roman has all the accolades. The Usos didn't. They were the tag team champions, but they weren't the longest reigning Universal champion. They're not the undisputed champion. Like, Roman has all that glory because he's by himself. He's a solo guy. So, okay, he had to have been somewhat a part of the decision to be pinned by Jay specifically. And so I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if the three of them would want to like catapult Solo's career forward by him being the one to dethrone Roman. I just feel like it makes sense, and there's so much time between now and then. Of course it could change. Jay could be the one, but as of right now, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's 100% like going in that direction, that it's going to be Solo. And I would be so freaking satisfied if I was right, just because then I could be like, you know.